Walt Disney grew up in Marceline, Ohio, on a farm and had a strong interest in drawing growing up. When he and his family moved to Chicago, he drew pictures for the McKinley High School paper and attended evening classes at the Chicago Fine Academy of Fine Arts. He eventually moved to Hollywood with his brother Roy Disney to become a director, and they established Disney Brothers Studios. And Walt had dreams all throughout his life when he wanted to create animated pictures, and then he created the most famous cartoon character of all time that we know today, Mickey Mouse. But his biggest dream was bringing his animations to life somehow. He discovered a way to bring a fantasy world where you can be around your favorite characters, and that idea became a theme park. In 1953, Walt Disney World bought 160 acres for $879,000 to build his first dream world, Disneyland. After spending $17 million on 2,500 laborers to build the park in time for deadlines, Walt's Fantasyland finally opened on July 1995. After only 3 years of being open, Disneyland had already brought 10 million visitors. With the success the park brought, many wanted of the Disney money. So right outside the park, people opened their own businesses to be included of those profits. Also, many people of many states would ask Walt to build the theme park in their state. Walt was interested in making Disneyland into something bigger, more significant, in an area where the environment can be more controlled to their favor. To the nicer weather in Florida, and Walt Disney made deals with the Dimitri family, who owned the wetlands where the park would be eventually built. For $182 an acre, Walt Disney bought 27,400 acres for $5 million. Now, Walt had the space to create whatever he wanted. The land had no power and no roads, and was a blank state. His first project was Epcot, his experimental prototype community of tomorrow. Walt made a 25-minute video explaining his plans for this modernized city to convince the state of Florida to give him complete control of this big chunk of land to Disney. 5 days after making the video, Walt was admitted to St. Joseph Hospital, and a month later he died on December 15th, 1966, and he died due to his lung cancer. When Walt died, his brother took over the project to help his brother's dream come true. First, he renamed the project from Disney World to Walt Disney World. Disney also accounted their own district where everything will be under the control of Disney. The construction cost alone was $100 million, most of which was covered by help by sponsorships. They were spreading their money extremely thin, with the cost of the whole Disney World project ending at $400 million. The first building to ever open on the property was Walt Disney World Preview Center on January 10th, 1970, where you could go visit and see a preview of the Walt Disney World model. It was also a small gift shop where you could buy Disney merch and tickets for the upcoming park, and they pre-sold at least 11 million tickets at the preview center before the park opened. A year before the park would open, about 4,000 people a week would try to get a job at Disney World. They received 120,000 applications, and they hired 5,000 people. Disney also announced five theme resorts, the first two being Disney Polynesian Resort and Disney Contemporary Resort. After 4 years of Walt Disney passing, Walt Disney World would finally open October 1st, 1971, receiving 12,000 people by the end of the day. After only 4 months of being open, Disney World would receive 2 million guests. Roy Disney passed away after 3 months after the park being open due to a stroke on December 25th, 1971. Orlando today is the most visited destination in the United States, and it's the theme park capital of the world. Disney is one of the biggest companies today. They own pretty much everything. Everywhere you would go, you'll probably find something Disney related there. So many people have different opinions on that and how Disney can do very questionable things. But Walt Disney knew what he was doing with his ideas and brought them to life. He created this empire and probably didn't even realize how big this company had become. And it is inspiring that a small idea in your brain can change your life forever. He created so many great animated features that are still being watched today and it will still be watched for years to come. And not only may those films bring them to life, he brought them to a place where you can interact with your favorite animals and be in their world. I loved going to Disney World as a kid, and it genuinely felt magical, and even now it still does. The company may have its flaws, but it's pretty impressive and interesting how it all came together.